We're going to look at statistics and how that interacts with probability in this video. So what we're going to take a look at is just sort of the interaction between these two and how we can pull out percentages and proportions and ratios and just see kind of what that tells us about the data. So my first example here, I'm saying a random sample of 100 teenagers participated in a survey, and we allowed each teenager to use both a new Apple phone and a new Android device for the day, for the whole day, and then at the end of the day, just asking them to pick which they preferred. So the table here shows the result of this test, and I'm asking you to fill in the missing totals first. So let's do that. Right away, I already know that 100 should be the full total for everything. If I add all these up, it should make everything add up to 100. For Android, looks like 34 plus 18 is 52. 20 for the Apple, 20 plus 28 is 48. And you'll notice this should add up to 100. If it doesn't, you might have made a mistake in there. And same thing, let's add up the total for the boys. 34 plus 20 is 54. For the girls, 18 plus 28 is 46. And again, it looks like this is adding up to 100. So just kind of a way to check your work. If it's not adding up, maybe go back, see if you made a mistake adding. So what percentage of the participants were boys? So we had 54 boys out of 100. Hundreds are easy. 100 is the percent. So dividing this would give us 54%. All right, pretty straightforward. The next one's asking us for a ratio, though. So the ratio of the participants who preferred Android and were girls. All right. So looks like a total of 52 people preferred Android, and 18 of those were the girls. So we're doing 18 over 52 is going to be our ratio. And we can reduce this. It looks like I can take a 2 out of both these numbers. So let's go ahead and reduce that to 9 over 26 would be our reduced ratio. What's next? What's the ratio of participants who preferred Apple that were boys? So for Apple, it looks like 48 people preferred that. And of the boys, it was 20. So we're going to say 20 over 48 is our ratio. Again, I can reduce this. Looks like I can divide a 4 out of both these numbers. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And 48 divided by 4 is 12. So the ratio 5 to 12 of those participants. And the last question here, what's the percentage of participants that were girls? Just kind of the same thing as the first question. So we had 100 total people that participated and 46 were girls. So dividing these by 100 is easy. It's just going to be 46%. All right. So this is the probability just based off of this chart, these percentages. And when we have a total of 100, it's pretty straightforward because percentages are hundreds. So let's look at one that's maybe a little harder. On this one, so it looks like the total is not going to be 100 on this one. So it will be a little trickier to get those percentages. Let's start by filling in all the missing totals. All right, so this is a radio station conducting a survey. They asked what kind of people, or they asked people what kind of music they listen to the most. And let's go ahead and fill in these totals, right? 10 plus 25 is 35. 35 and 5 is 40. 30 plus 15 is 45. 5 plus 10 is going to be 15. And then also going this way, so 10 plus 35, 30, and 5, adding all those together is 80. 25 plus 5 plus 15 plus 10, adding all that up is 55. And I can really add either way. I can add the bottom, or I can just add these two. Either way, it should give me 135. All right, so this is kind of our total people surveyed was 135. It didn't tell you in the question. We had to add those up to find that out. What percentage of the participants were radio listeners? So the total is 135. And how many of those were radio listeners? So all these people, they liked rock, pop, hip hop, country, but on the radio was 55. So that's what we're going to divide. We're dividing 55 divided by 135. Going to get a decimal here, 0.41. And to convert that to a percentage, you're just moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So 41%. All right, what about the next one? So what's the ratio of participants who preferred hip hop that listened on the radio? So let's see here. For the radio listeners, the hip hop listeners are 45. They preferred hip hop. And who listened on the radio? Looks like 15 of them. So be careful with that. I almost flipped those around because I didn't read it the right way. So just be careful that you're reading that. Let's reduce this also. So 15 divided by 45. Looks like I can take a 5 out of both of these. It's going to be 3. 45 divided by 5 is 9. And I can actually reduce that one more time. I can divide 3 out of 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our ratio is 1/3. What about the next ratio here? So the participants who preferred rock that listened by streaming. So for rock, it looks like we have a total of 35 listeners. And who was streaming, it looks like 10 of those. All right, and again, just be careful that you're not flipping that. You should get a fraction or a ratio that's less than 1. So if you end up with, something more than 100%, something greater than 1, you might want to check your work. You might have made a mistake in there. So again, we can reduce this. 10 divided by 5 and 35 divided by 5 is 5/7. All right, and the last part here, let me switch my color. What percentage of the participants listened by streaming? So the total was 135. And who is listening by streaming? Looks like 80. So we're just going to divide that, 80 divided by 135. And again, you can check your work. If you get a percentage that's more than 100%, you made a mistake, go back, check your work. So let's go ahead and divide these. 80 divided by 135 is 0.59. And to change that to a percentage, just moving the decimal over 2 is going to be 59%. All right, so that's pretty much it for these. You're really just kind of reading that data off the chart. To get the percentage, we can divide from the total, and then just the trick for percentages, you just want to move the decimal over 2 places to get that percent. All right, guys.